What is the best method a city can use to define a city brand?
I think a key point for any city to define anything that has to do with the city is to listen to the city, listen to the people living in the city, source information and source inspiration from what actually is going on, what's actually happening in the city. Of course you can make decisions and you can make strategies and you can push things along. You can make decisions that points out to the future. But if you base it on something that's not there, something that's not kind of a willingness in the society and the people living there, you have a problem. So I think it's really important to kind of involve and listen. And now there are great tools for listening to people that you do it based on the people living there.
So what did you actually do when you needed to define the brand of Copenhagen?
Well, it's been a process that's been a combination of a lot of things. Of course, there's a political level in this. There's wishes of what we want to achieve as a city, as a region, both in terms of attracting business, attracting tourists. So, of course, we work with KPIs and with targets that are more strategically based. But we also look very much on the platforms where we can find the people of the city, and we can source information from the people visiting, asking them, how was your experience? How do you see Copenhagen? It's very important for us in terms of keeping up with what's actually going on out there.
So, who is involved in the definition of Copenhagen's brand?
Well, organizations like ourselves are of course involved because we have kind of a reason to do it, and we have a license to do it as well, and somebody needs to do that job because it's not unimportant. Of course, there's a political level that you have kind of directions and targets you want to achieve in terms of pushing the city somewhere or the region somewhere. But we involve so many people that it's hard to say just one thing, and it's also very much a combination of historical actions, of events that's going on, of new kind of ideas strumming to the city. And so it's a very complex picture. There's not just one thing that makes the answer, I think.
So what are the basic definition terms you've used?
In terms of defining the brand?
Yeah, like some people, they use a brand, promise, etc. Has Copenhagen been working with any definition terms like that?
There hasn't been any kind of static terms for years now that we've used in terms of the way we want to have Copenhagen experienced. We've turned it around and we've looked at the analysis of the ones visiting the city, either on business or leisure, and through research, ask them what is the experience of Copenhagen. And when everyone comes back and tells us it's not the attractions, it's not the public transport, it's not the bikes, it's the Copenhageners that's always the main attraction in Copenhagen. Which is a very interesting point, because if you go to Abu Dhabi or if you go to Rome, I think you'll find different answers to that question. So the terms that we use is very much that point, that the Copenhageners is the interesting kind of the best attraction in Copenhagen, and the livability that's in the city that actually makes Copenhageners want to be here, keep moving to the city, want to kind of develop the city with the city, is a fair point. And so kind of one term that always rings through Copenhagen when we use it is livability, and that's a term that's important for us to use.
So livability, but also you mentioned the Copenhageners. I just need to ask you, what is so attractive about Copenhageners?
The Copenhageners are different, and they are exotic, and they look good. A lot of people tell them, which is, I think, a fair point. We do things a bit differently in a lot of parts of the world, and I don't think it's a Copenhagen thing only, it's very much a Scandinavian thing. But the way we work, the hours we work a day, the way we bike, the way we go about with each other, we might not be the best ones to kind of meet on the street and chit-chat along with on the bus or on the train, but we are people that really open up when you kind of scratch that surface. So the Copenhageners is kind of an exotic crowd that has a lot of history back from the Vikings and kind of a Nordic way to do it, but also very, very well educated and very modern in terms of going to the world. So I think that's my definition of Copenhagen.